That means you're out of your home in 4 months and that's your chance to modify this loan ended. It's kind of a sad thing because you're talking about a huge amount of homes that are just sitting there. Your neighbor's homes, your home, people within a 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, 4 mile radius. When I walk into a courtroom and I'm defending a foreclosure, I'm defending the homeowner, it's not unusual for me to see the attorney I'm standing in front of have 80 files and I'm the only attorney, which means that 1 out of those 80 files were defended, which means that 80 files flew through the system in front of that judge that day. And he was only one of probably about 8 attorneys with these huge boxes that they're walking in with. It's not unusual. In the state of Florida alone, over 30,000 foreclosures are filed on a monthly basis. Now, 30 times 12 is 360,000 homes. That means 360,000 individuals, citizens of the state of Florida, are foreclosed on every year. The issue of blame in a lawsuit doesn't exactly come up. What happens is basically, what are your legal defenses? How can you defend yourself? How can you get the time you need to negotiate this? Now let me explain the process with you if you don't know how a bank normally does things. Let's say your home is worth $250,000 and you owe $350,000. What can happen to allow you to be able to make your payments? The bank knows if they take it back, they're only going to be able to sell it for a maximum of $250,000. They're not going to get the $350,000 that you owe on it. Right. I've just made it clear to you that the attorney who's working the foreclosure has no clue what negotiations the banks are doing. And he could care less. He gets paid normally a flat fee and a non-contested foreclosure. A non-contested foreclosure means you didn't file an answer. Let that property just go because you thought there was nothing you could do. Well, in some cases, that's not a bad thing. But in the case where you want your home and you put effort into it and you want to be able to modify this loan, that's a really bad decision. I mean, you gave away your investment. You gave away your home because you thought there was nothing you could do. Well, there are some people out there who will help you. Now, I had a case the other day where they modified the loan by $200,000. Now, would you have been able to stay in your house in that case? Absolutely. The incentive to save the home is on your ability to renegotiate your loan. And part of the loan can be renegotiated through an interest reduction or lowering in principal. And principal is the total amount owed on the loan. For those who, sometimes I want to make sure everything I say is easily understood because everyone is not a lawyer, everybody is not a property expert. Principal over appraised value. I owe $300, the house is only worth $250. I can't afford it at $300 anymore. Or I can't live with it. Whichever way I don't like it, I'm going to try to modify my loan with the bank. And that's something you can do by fighting the foreclosure. You can get yourself time to modify the loan. Like I said, in most scenarios, the attorney who is foreclosing has no clue what's going on with the bank and you. And that's a good reason to fight the loan. Now, whether you believe it or not, some of these loans were made without following the rules, which doesn't surprise some people here. Some of these loans were made by people who were less than scrupulous. Guys who got those appraisals jacked up by $100,000, $200,000 higher than the property was worth. Guys who, at the closing table, had different documents than the ones you had seen before. There were amounts on it that weren't even close to the pre-statements you received. And you were sitting at that table. There was a person across the table with a pencil, with a pen, and a notary stamp telling you, listen, you got to do this. And you needed that money because you wanted to pay off your credit cards, you wanted to buy a new car, you wanted to put your kids through college. But there are rules against that to protect you. And yes, You said you would owe the money. But what happens if they didn't do it? If they had, the term is unclean hands. Now, remember what I told you, it was kind of tough to get somebody on the phone at the bank? Or somebody who was in a position to modify that loan? Well, the minute these loans become contested, suddenly the bank might be a little more, how can you say, pliable when it comes to negotiation. They become a little more, well, geez, this could last forever. Let's give them the deal. Let's give them what we probably would negotiate with if we didn't have the foreclosure right on his neck. Let's give them the real deal. And that happens. You have now brought these people to the table. In Seminole County, they are now in most cases allowing mediation, which means that if you step forward and you say, I want to mediate this loan, somebody from the bank has to be on the phone in mediation to actually be there to negotiate with you. For those who most of the times can't even get hold of somebody to negotiate, they have to have somebody on the phone or there to at least come to the table with you. Now, was that worth filing an answer? Absolutely. You know, you might have been wrong for not being able to afford that loan. Were you wrong for losing your job? You might think of it this way. If you don't file, your house is gone in 4 months. That's 4 to 5 months. Being able to fight it with an attorney, that period of time goes from about a year to 2 years. Now remember this, you're not paying mortgage payments. Now what normally happens in a scenario like that is when they modify the loans, the payments you missed go on the back end. And that's the new payments, not